got King. Turn around, King! Oh no, from behind, that's Uncle Howdy! The fiend, Bray Wyatt! Into the ring!
Oh boy, do we have something to talk about today. The Wyatt Six have arrived in the WWE, and let me tell you, they've set the wrestling world on fire faster than Matt Riddle can never mind. If you've been anywhere near wrestling Twitter, Reddit, or even your local bingo hall in the past couple weeks, you've probably heard about the Wyatt Six. Their debut on Raw after Clash at the Castle wasn't just a moment, it was an event, a happening, a freaking paradigm shift in the world of sports entertainment. Now, let's rewind a bit. For months, WWE has been teasing us with these cryptic messages, QR codes popping up faster than Roman Reigns' cousins, and more Easter eggs than a Marvel movie marathon. We're talking about Twitch stream takeovers, creepy websites, and enough hidden clues to make a whole Sherlock Holmes novel. And just when we thought we had it all figured out, bam, the Wyatt Six debut hit us like a clothesline from hell on the June 17th episode of Monday Night Raw. But who are these ominous figures behind the creepy masks? What's their history in the WWE? And what's the one common thread that ties them all together? And most importantly, what does the future hold for the Wyatt Six in WWE? Well, my name is Gresh from Wrestleology, and today we're taking a deep dive into the hottest story in the world of pro wrestling today, the eerie and mysterious Wyatt Six. Picture this, Nikki Cross, or what's left of her, crawling out of the mist like she's auditioning for the Ring 3 WWE edition. The camera follows her backstage, and suddenly we are in a horror movie. Bodies everywhere, blood that would make the great Muda blush, and Chad Gable with a bullet in his skull? Yeah, I don't know. But you know what the real fun part is? The reveal of the Wyatt Six themselves. 5 figures emerge from the chaos, each one more unsettling than the last. And then when Uncle Howdy, the leader of this motley crew, uttered those ominous words, "We're here," and blew out that lantern, goosebumps, people, goosebumps. It was like the spirit of Bray Wyatt had been reborn, multiplied by 5, and unleashed upon the WWE universe. This wasn't just a debut, it was a statement and a revolution. And before we get into discussing their future and what they could have planned for the WWE, let's break down who the members of the Wyatt Six actually are, shall we? First up, we've got Uncle Howdy himself, the big cheese, the head honcho, well, you get the idea. It's none other than Bo Dallas, Bray Wyatt's real-life brother. You see, Bo's journey to this point of the WWE has been wilder than a roller coaster ride in Jurassic Park.
All you have to do is believe!
Remember back in NXT when he was telling everyone to believe? Bo went from being NXT champion to joining the Social Outcasts to being a part of the Miztourage before being released in 2021.
I'm the new NXT champion, baby!
Pretty mid-career, if I do say so myself, but then he returned as the mysterious Uncle Howdy alongside Bray Wyatt in 2022, and now he's leading one of the most intriguing factions that the WWE has seen in years. Talk about a glow-up. Up next, we've got Nikki Cross, or as she's now known, Abby the Witch. Nikki started off in Sanity, which ironically might be the sanest part of her career. She also had a run with Alexa Bliss, became a superhero, almost, and then, well, she kind of disappeared. Last we saw her, she was staring into the void like she was trying to see the end of an Undertaker entrance, and now she's crawling around with the Wyatt Six. Then there's Eric Rowan, aka the Rambling Rabbit, and Rowan's been with the Wyatt family since the NXT days, the very beginning. He's been a Wyatt, a Bludgeon Brother, Daniel Bryan's Eco Warrior buddy, and even had a WrestleMania moment with The Rock, all 6 seconds of it. He was let go during the pandemic cuts, but now he's back, bigger, redder, and more rabbit-like than ever. We've also got Dexter Lumis, likely playing the role of Mercy the Buzzard, and Lumis is the ultimate show don't tell guy, having gone literal years without speaking in NXT.
What are the odds that Dream will defeat Cole to become the new champ?
He went from being the tortured artist to marrying Indy Hartwell to being released to coming back and feuding with The Miz, and now he's traded his pencils for feathers, and honestly, I'd say it's an improvement. And last but not least, we've got Joe Gacy as Huskus the Pig. Gacy's the only one in the group who hasn't had a main roster run, but don't let that fool you. He's been doing his best Bray Wyatt impression down in NXT for years, going from a politically correct character to a full-blown cult leader. Now he's gone full pork, and it's something. Now, on the surface, this might look like a random crew of talents assembled by Triple H, but if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that there's one common thread that ties all of them together, and I'll let Bo explain that for you.
We're the ones that everybody wanted to forget about. We're the ones that everybody abandoned.
Still don't get it? Let me put it this way. Nikki Cross, Sanity, Joe Gacy, Schism, Dexter Lumis, The Way, Eric Rowan, the Wyatt family. You see, the members of the Wyatt Six all used to be a part of a group or family that forgot about them or abandoned them, and Uncle Howdy brought them all together and molded them in his own twisted way. But this is where things get really interesting. The Wyatt Six only has 5 members, so who's the 6th? Well, it seems like that spot is being left symbolically empty for the late great Bray Wyatt himself. It's like he's there in spirit, guiding this group of misfits and monsters. Cue the goosebumps again, folks. And I know there were some theories about it potentially the 6th member being Alexa Bliss. I know there were talks in the beginning that it could be a Braun Strowman, but like I said, in my opinion, it's probably the spirit of Bray Wyatt. But enough about who they are, let's talk about what they might do, because if there's one thing wrestling fans love more than watching wrestling, it's speculating wildly about wrestling. First off, who are they going to target? Well, the obvious answer seems to be Chad Gable. After all, they did kind of, like murder Chad. I don't know. Did they? I don't know. But there are other theories floating around. Some think that they might go after the Pride, picking up where Bray Wyatt left off in his feud with Bobby Lashley. Others think LA Knight might be in their crosshairs given his history with Bray. But here's a really interesting theory that's been going around the internet. You see, in most of these creepy Bo/Uncle Howdy VHS tape interview segments, the theme of family has been brought up over and over again. And in one of these recent sessions, Bo specifically mentioned false prophets who berate and belittle their families. And if we put 2 and 2 together, it looks like the Wyatt Six is going after everyone who's turned their back on their family. Think about it. Chad Gable turning on Alpha Academy, Carmelo Hayes betraying Trick Williams, Dominic Mysterio going against his papi, Seth Rollins turning on the Shield, Jey Uso betraying the Bloodline. It's like a twisted version of Family Feud, and the Wyatt Six are Steve Harvey, if Steve Harvey wore a creepy mask and carried a giant hammer. There's also a question of championships. Now, I know what you're thinking, but surely a group this dominant is going to go after all the gold, right? Well, hold your horses there. Remember what happened when they put the Universal title on the Fiend? Yeah, let's not do that again. The Wyatt Six should be above such trivial pursuits as championships. They're not here for gold, they're here for souls. But if they were to go after some titles, because let's face it, this is the WWE we're talking about, here are some of my personal predictions. Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, could make a run for the World Heavyweight Championship eventually. Imagine him as a dark, twisted champion defending the title in bizarre supernatural matches. It could be like the Fiend's run, but potentially they could actually do it right this time. Nikki Cross could definitely set her sights on the Women's World Championship, a reign of terror where she just turns every match into a horror show. Nikki versus Rhea in some kind of Nightmare on Elm Street match. Honestly, that doesn't sound too bad, and this is coming from a guy who is kind of wary about letting the group take that supernatural approach in actual matches. Now, Eric Rowan and Dexter Lumis could dominate the tag team division. Their combination of brute strength and unsettling presence can make for some unforgettable moments and spice up the tag team division on Raw. And Joe Gacy might be perfect for either the Intercontinental or United States Championship. The only reason why I even mentioned the US title is because when WWE moves Raw to Netflix next year, if Logan Paul is still in that title picture, I could definitely see Logan Paul being a part of that whole Netflix thing. So maybe they bring the US title back to Raw and the IC title back to SmackDown. We'll see what happens. But basically, he could turn it into some twisted version of the American Dream, destroying everything that the title stands for if it is the US title. But then again, I could also see him going for the IC title eventually too. But like I said, here's the thing, the Wyatt Six don't need titles to be effective. In fact, they might be more interesting without them. Imagine them as this ever-present threat looming over the entire WWE roster, targeting everyone who turns their back on their family. They don't need to be on TV every week. In fact, they probably shouldn't be. Let them be this rare special occurrence that makes everyone sit up and take notice whenever they appear. And speaking of appearing, how cool would it be for them to also show up in NXT once in a while? After all, that's where most of them got their start. And imagine a lantern suddenly appearing in front of Trick Williams, or Roxanne finding a creepy doll in her locker room. The possibilities here are truly endless. And now let's talk about the long-term potential of the Wyatt Six. Can we see them expand, maybe bring in some new members? I'm thinking Alexa Bliss, like I said earlier, could make a shocking return, embracing her dark side once again. But at the end of the day, no matter where the Wyatt Six go or who they terrorize, there is one thing we can't forget. This is a love letter to Bray Wyatt. From the Firefly Funhouse characters come to life, to the use of Bray's last theme song, to the iconic We're Here and Lantern blowout, everything about this group screams Bray Wyatt. It's a testament to the impact that Bray had on the wrestling world. Even after his tragic passing, his presence is still felt so strongly. The Wyatt Six aren't just carrying on his legacy, they're expanding it, evolving it, and hopefully eventually taking it to places that we could have never imagined. And you know what? That's pretty damn beautiful. In an industry that's often criticized for being shallow or short-sighted, here's a storyline that's rich with history, deep with meaning, and full of potential. It's a reminder of why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place, because when it's done right, there's nothing else in the world like it. The Wyatt Six represent a new era in WWE storytelling. They're not just characters, they're a mood, an atmosphere, a feeling. They're the embodiment of that chill you get when you're home alone and you hear a strange noise. And they're the nightmares that haunt you long after you've woken up. But there you have it, folks. The Wyatt Six have arrived and we're in for a wild, weird, and wonderful, creepy ride. But what do you think? Are you excited about this new chapter in the Wyatt saga? Who do you think they should target next? What do you think their overall goal should be? And most importantly, where can I get one of those sweet masks? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And if you ever hear a strange noise late at night, in the wise words from the immortal Bray Wyatt,
When the lights go out, you should run.